Hello everyone. In this video I want to show you some file and directory management commands in MATLAB which are very similar to DOS or similar to Linux basically, and they might come handy when you are trying to organize your files and folders and you don't want to go and right click and do all this stuff. You want to handle everything through your code. Maybe, for example, your code generates lots of files, right? And you want to store them to a specific folder that is not there. You want to create it and store them there. Or let's say some files that are temporary at the end, you want to go and delete them, and you want all these tasks to be automated through MATLAB code. You don't want to go there and use the right-click options of window. So can you do that? Sure, in MATLAB there are some commands for that. Or for example, you want to see if there is enough space, right? Or how much space is there in the current folder, and you want to go based on that. So the first simplest command that you might use is dir, okay? And when you run this command, it is going to give you some information about the current directory, about the content of it. So look here, I go ahead and run the command dir. If you just call it without asking for any output, look, it says right now in the current directory, which you can see here on the top left, I have some folders that you can see like ABED, ASME, ChatGPT stuff. You can see them all here. And then it also shows you the name of the files too. Okay, so there are some files, there are some folders, you can see them all, and it shows them all over there. But it can do more. If you ask for an output and say, hey, assign the output of it to a variable, let's call it D or whatever you want, now you get different things, okay? So let me show you that. So here, let's get an output from it and see what happens. Now it returns an output, which is a structure. And 25 by 1, because there are 25 items here, and it has 6 fields, as you can see: name, folder, date, bytes, isdir, and datenum. So for example, what is it to store in a d.name, right? What is it in the d.name? Let's take a look. If you do that, then one by one, you see it's the name of these folders and the files that I have over there, okay? Or if you say .folder, then .folder is simply just the name of this folder, which is my downloads folder. So for all of them, all of those, their folder is going to be downloads. It's the same thing, but their names are different. Or .date is the date that they have been they have been created or modified, right? So if I say d.date, you see here, some of them go as long as 2022, some of them 2023. You see here, this folder, I have something I just did today, so it shows the last modification, right? And by the way, in addition to d.name, which gives you the name of everything in the current directory, there is the similar command here called ls, which you probably know it if you use Linux. This ls is the list command as well. If I run that, you see, it also gives me everything in a more organized manner, right? So instead of showing them one by one and assigning them to the variable answer, it just shows them in a more kind of concise, efficient manner. So instead of saying d equal dir and show me d.name, instead of that, you can simply say what? ls, right? So ls here. And say that ls is doing the same thing. Okay, and then we have this. If you want to see how many bytes is, what is the total volume of the content here that you have, you say d.bytes, but the problem is if you do that, it is going to give you 25 or as many as there is values one by one, right? Let me show you. right? And then now you have to add all of this together one by one manually. So instead of that, you combine them all in a single bracket. You concatenate the result. So now the result is a simple vector like this, and then you run the command sum on it. So this shows me the total the total amount of the size of the files, all of them in folders in megabytes. So you see it's 196,000 megabytes, something like probably 17, 18 gigs. Okay, so if you want, you can get the total size of the content of the current directory. Okay, let's move on. So what else can I do? The next thing you can do is you can create folders, you can remove folders, you can move files, you can copy files, and you can delete files. Okay, so there are lots of things you can do to folders and files. If you want to create a new folder in your current directory, use the command makedir, mkdir. And that is going to create a new blank folder in the current directory. So here, I'm going to create two separate empty folders, one called MATLAB pictures, the other one EEA pictures. And you see when I did that, right here, I added this one, right? And then what? This one. Okay, so these two were added after I ran the command, and you see they are empty, right? And now I have two picture files. One is called capture ping, and the other one is EEA JPEG. And I want to move or copy these files to this folder. So how do I do that? I use the command copy file, and then tell it which file I need to copy. It's the EEA JPEG. And then I'll tell it the destination. Where do you want it to go? Go to the folder EEA pictures. So now look, if I do that right now, my folder EEA picture is empty, right? Look at that. It's empty, but this picture here, right, it's there. So now look what I do. I copy that and paste it into that folder, right? So you see it's still there because I just copied that. But now look, this guy is not empty anymore. And I can move if I want. It's like cut and paste. So I can move this other picture, capture ping, to the folder MATLAB pictures. So you see right now the capture ping is what is in downloads, not in MATLAB pictures. It's empty. But now when I run this command, look here, it moves it and cut and paste it basically. So now if I go back, you see now that capture is gone and now it's here. It has been pasted here. Okay. And then now, can you get rid of a directory? Well, or can you get rid of a file? If you want to get rid of a file, you can just use the command delete. So here in my current directory that I want to get rid of this EEA.jpg. I want to get rid of this guy. So I use the command delete, and it will simply delete it, just like you right click and delete. You see, it's gone. But can you delete a folder? So I want to delete that folder called MATLAB pictures, which has a picture in it right now, right? This guy here, this MATLAB picture, remember it has a picture in it, capture. Can I delete it? Look, when I run this command, remove dir, rmdir, look what happens. It says, hey, I cannot do it. If you want to get rid of a directory, it has to be empty. So this command is not going to delete a folder that has contents in it. Okay? Keep that in mind, that the folder must be empty before deleting. Otherwise, this command will give you an error. So the question is, how do I empty that? Well, in order to empty that, if you don't want to go through Windows and you want to go through MATLAB, first you have to go through that folder. You have to change your folder from downloads to what? To this MATLAB pictures. Okay, can I do that automatically? Yes. How? The command is called cd, which is change directory. Okay, so you can use this command cd to change your directory to something else. Once you go there, you use the command delete to delete the content of it. then you change the directory back again to your previous location, and then what? Now you use the command remove dir. Okay, so if you want to do it, I just show you, I don't do it, but I can show you. If you want to do it here, instead you had to do what? You have to say cd MATLAB pictures, right? You have to first go to the MATLAB pictures, then delete the file called capture.ping, then go back to folders, right, to your current folder. So for the finding the name of the folder, you can basically, you might say, can I use cd ... like I had in the Linux, huh? Can I do that? Well, let's find out. So here we say cd MATLAB pictures. Let me do it actually, that's fine. You see here, the current directory changed to here. Now I delete the file. You see? Okay, the file is deleted, it's empty. Now I want to go back. Can I use cd ... You see, now this does not work here. So you cannot say cd ... You cannot go back. So if you change your folder to this internal folder MATLAB pictures and you want to go back, what should you do? If you just simply say cd, right, would it do it? Well, when I do cd, it gives me my current folder. It gives me the current folder, not the previous folder. So how can I go back? Well, one of the things you can do is before you change your folder to this MATLAB pictures, what you can do is to save the address of this previous folder that you are changing from, save it so later you can come back to it. And you might say, how do I do that? Well, this cd, not only it can change a folder for you, it can store or give you as an output the current folder, the address of the current folder, or the old, you might call it old folder. Well, how would you do that? So this is what you do. You put this inside parentheses and say cd, go to MATLAB pictures from downloads, but here give that to an output and call it old folder. Okay, now this old folder will be what? Will be the downloads. So later you can come back to what? To this old folder. Okay, and then you can remove. So let me show you that. So if I'm here, right, and I run this command, look what happens. You see, now old folder is downloads. It changed me to MATLAB pictures, but it saved that downloads here. So now I go inside and delete, which I already did, so I don't need to do it again. Now, when my job is done, I say, hey, go back to the old folder, cd old folder. Look, I'm back to the downloads. Now I can what? I can remove my MATLAB pictures. Look, there we go. Now it's empty. It's not going to give me an error, and you see it's gone. Okay, so these are the things you have to do. Then say what? Remove dir and then MATLAB pictures. This is how you would do it. Okay, instead. Okay, so I guess I showed you how to copy a file, move a file, delete a file, right? I showed you all of them. Let me bring this guy up here, which is more relevant to these. And then how to change a folder, how to remove a folder, make a folder. And the last thing I want to show you is this command winopen, which I really like this one too. So let's say here, I say, hey, I'm in some folder and say, hey, go ahead and read me this picture eea.jpg and assign it to the variable image, right? So I run this command and it says, hey, this file does not exist. And if I don't have this window to open it right here to see it, I cannot see whether that file that I was asking for is here or not. Okay, so if you don't have this window next to you and you know that this guy is not there, you might get this error. So you might want to open the folder, right? Click on this folder and open it and see whether that file is in that current directory or not. So how can you do that? You say win open cd. Remember cd, when you just run cd alone, it gives you the address of the current directory. So if you say win open cd, it should open, it's like clicking here and then going to the downloads. Because if you click here, look right now, I'm not in downloads, right? So I have to go to downloads later. But instead of those two, I can simply say win open cd. Look, here, there we go. One click, it opens my current directory for me. And then I can see, oh, that image is not here. So now what do I do? Say change my folder to EEA pictures where I have that guy. Now read the image and now what? Show the image. So I have to go to the folder that guy exists, or from there I have to copy something here. So I would rather here change my current folder, read the image, and then what? Show the image. And there we go. Okay, so these are some options for file and folder management. Hopefully they were useful to you, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.